I'm the Traveling Zam, and welcome to my channel. Whether you're a seasoned traveler or dreaming about your first big trip, I'm here to help inspire your next adventure. Over the past decade, I've dedicated my life to exploring the world. From remote corners of Madagascar to the bustling streets of Hong Kong, I've traveled to over 130 countries, immersing myself in diverse cultures, uncovering epic destinations, and setting off on wild experiences. Travel isn't just what I do, it's who I am. As a full-time traveler and explorer, I've learned that the world is full of breathtaking places waiting to be discovered, and every year brings new opportunities to expand our horizons. Last year alone, I visited 34 countries and wanted to highlight a few of the places I think should be on everyone's travel list, and hopefully give you some inspiration as you start planning your adventures for 2025. First up, and one of the countries I could visit every year and constantly be amazed, is China. They have just introduced a 5-day free transit visa, making some of the world's largest and most innovative cities more accessible than ever for an extended layover. This year I started by visiting two of China's special administrative regions, Hong Kong and Macau. I have always loved the exotic pulse of Hong Kong. Its blend of modern skyscrapers competing with the towering peaks surrounded by the Victoria Harbor is stunning. Then an hour ferry ride takes you to Macau, an interesting mix of Portuguese ruins and glitzy Vegas-style casinos, yet all with a Chinese twist. Both of these places are easy to visit visa-free, but then for my 5-day transit visa, I headed up to mainland China to Chengdu, home of the adorable pandas and the culinary delight of spicy Szechuan hot pot. But one of the things that makes China so fascinating is its blend of rich history and futuristic infrastructure. In the same day, you can visit a giant Buddha in Laoshan that is 100 years old, and later visit a science fiction museum that transport you 100 years into the future. And this is just one of China's many megacities. I hope to visit more of China in the coming years, and I think it should be on everyone's bucket list. Next up, and not too far from China, was one of my favorite countries of 2024, Laos. Landlocked in the middle of Southeast Asia, what Laos lacks in beachfront, it makes up for with majestic landscapes, rich culture, and unique experiences. Vang Vieng, right in the middle of the country, is an absolute must-visit. It is dubbed the adventure capital of the country. As soon as you enter the lazy town on the river, you will instantly be enchanted as colorful hot air balloons gently float overhead, while long tailboats buzz up and down the stream. It is very easy and affordable to rent a scooter for the day to zip through the mystical landscape that sculpts the valley with its jagged cliffs. A bit further north is Luang Prabang, the ancient capital of this kingdom. The town is adorable with colorful streets lined with flowers and adorned with many intricately designed, well-manicured, active monasteries. Every morning before the sun rises, the saffron-clad barefoot monks line the streets as they receive the town's blessing. Further north still, and even more remote, is the little village of Nang Kiao. In this picturesque village, you can go even further only by foot, through small farming villages, and experience real village life with authentic homestays and appreciate a much slower pace of life. Up and over the mountains of Laos, over the border, takes you to northern Vietnam. This elongated country on the Pacific coast is full of adventure, but the north especially is full of dramatic and unique landscapes and diverse cultures, and has a perfect circuit that helps you immerse yourself in this beautiful diversity. Most trips will start with a stop in Vietnam's hectic capital, Hanoi. Bustling scooters and a predictable locomotive that goes right through the city streets define the city's chaos, bringing the colorful city to life. It's an incredible city to wander and eat, but also a great launching point to head off on more serene destinations. Nearing the northern border with China are some of the country's most majestic peaks in Sapa. These mountains are layered with vibrant rice terraces and home to some of Vietnam's most vibrant people groups. The best way to experience the warmth and hospitality is on foot, hiking from village to village, immersing yourself in this cultural way of life. On your way to the coast, it is worth stopping in Ninh Binh, the original historic capital of Vietnam. This unreal landscape feels like something out of a movie. Jagged limestone cliffs rise above the bright green rice terraces. A lazy river becomes a highway of rowboats as you float under these giant rocks through caves to magical temples. Then towards the coast, a similar landscape continues to spill into the ocean. Similar cliffs tower above the cerulean blue sea and is home to these floating fishing villages. Boats can take you out to these villages on your way to hidden coves with private beaches all throughout Halong Bay. This northern Vietnamese circuit is full of adventure, culture, and unbelievable destinations. This next destination is for those that love off-the-beaten path and quirky destinations. Amidst the multitude of islands in the Java Sea is Borneo, an island shared by Malaysia and Indonesia. Yet tucked away in the north is the tiny oil-rich nation of Brunei. This micro-kingdom is home to less than 500,000 people, yet is one of the richest per capita nations in the world. However, being a monarchy, much of the wealth is not dispersed evenly. It's fascinating to see this contrast. The country really shows off with a few of its golden-domed mosques and exquisite, ornate interiors. The Omar al-Saifuddin Mosque in the center of the main city was built in 1958, soon after the country's discovery of its oil riches. Its towering gold spires draw your eyes toward the heavens, while its grounds are surrounded by lush gardens and trickling waters. Across the river from this $5 million temple to Allah, you can see just how much of this region lived for centuries in stilted villages that appear to float above the murky water. It's a fascinating juxtaposition and a very interesting destination for some next-level travelers. If you are into these off-the-beaten-path destinations, then I have another really unique place you could visit in 2025. The Comoros is one of the least visited countries in the world and is a great place to experience authentic culture and untouched beauty. Its 3 main islands swim in the cerulean blue waters of the Mozambique Channel, just off the coast of Africa. This small archipelago was formed by the swelling eruptions of hundreds of volcanoes, its craters still steaming with smoke and threatening further eruptions. I highly recommend using Adore Comore, one of the few travel companies to explore this hidden gem, as infrastructure is very underdeveloped. With their assistance, I was able to hike one of these massive steaming volcanoes and be transported to a completely foreign landscape. For the even more adventurous, you can jump on local fishing boats and explore some of the even more remote islands. These islands were full of pristine natural beauty and wildlife, as well as authentic sleepy villages completely unspoiled by the concerns of the outside world. Going in 2025 would certainly put you on a very uncharted territory and give you the sense of being an early explorer. If you are in this corner of the world, it is definitely worth visiting the Comoros' giant neighbor, Madagascar. Don't let the size of this country fool you. Though it looks like a small comma off the coast of southern Africa, Madagascar is one of the largest islands in the world, and often considered the 8th continent of the world due to its mass and biodiversity. It is much more traveled than the Comoros, but still offers rugged adventure with long, robust travel days to get to some of the world's most well-hidden gems. Tana, the capital, is worth seeing for some of its dusty European architecture, but don't waste much time here. The true beauty for me lied in the small coastal villages of Morondova. The culture was rich here amongst the fishing community, and its long coast offered beautiful beaches with colorful sailboats coming and going all times of day. Just up the road was the country's most iconic scene, the Baobab Alley. A dusty road that split through this ancient forest was lined with these cartoonish trees that are endemic to this region of the world. The long dirt road takes you through remote villages for about 12 hours to the Tsingy National Park. This long, arduous journey was worth it as I stood atop these giant, spiky black cliffs that sprawled as far as I could see and seemed to transport me to a completely different planet. A trip to Madagascar would not be complete without seeing some lemurs. One of the best places to see these fascinating creatures is the dense forest of Andasi Bay. A hike through this forest will hurt your neck as you strain your gaze upward to watch these leaping lemurs dance in the trees above you. The roads are long and hard through Madagascar, but completely worth it to see these treasures that can't be found anywhere else in the world. On the complete other side of the world is another region with unique biodiversity and drastically different climate. An hour's flight north of Oslo, Norway, is the remote island of the Arctic, Svalbard. This was one of the most magical trips of my life, and of all these destinations, this one I would recommend the most. We embarked on a 12-day expedition cruise with Arctic Expeditions, to what could only be described as a different planet. Our fearless captain steered us through icy waters, navigating the shores of these epic landscapes, where life teemed in the most unlikely places. The skies were alive with chirpy Arctic birds, soaring above craggy cliffs while glaciers cracked and calved into massive icebergs. Zodiacs zipped across the cold blue waters, taking us ashore to get close to Arctic walruses and observe the white-furred reindeer. Finally, our search was rewarded with a sighting of the elusive polar bear, the very symbol of this frigid realm. As we ventured further north, past the 81st parallel and into the Arctic Circle, the land disappeared, leaving only icy sheets stretching endlessly. We were enveloped by a shimmering, otherworldly expanse. Just as we marveled at the silent white vastness, a polar bear emerged from the ice, sauntering with ease as if perfectly in harmony with this frozen world. It was an unbelievable moment, one of the most unforgettable of the entire year. Getting to experience these polar regions is something that should be on everyone's bucket list. Heading back down to mainland Europe, there was one country I'd visited briefly, but knew it deserved more time: Slovenia. Though it is relatively small on the European continent, this country is full of quaint charm and stunning natural beauty. Ljubljana was such a delightful capital city, and a very manageable place to walk around. A colorful old town spills out over the river, at the foot of a hill adorned by a castle. But the real beauty is an hour north as you reach the Julian Alps. Nestled in the foothills is the stunning Lake Bled. This blue alpine lake offers stunning views of the majestic snow-capped peaks that surround the region, along with the jagged cliffs that support Bled Castle. Floating in the middle of the lake is a picture-perfect island that looks like it is out of a fairy tale, with a towering church steeple and bell tower that rings out over the water. From Lake Bled, the mountains are easily accessible, offering breathtaking hikes to some of the highest mountains in the Triglav National Park, as well as access to adorable mountain villages. If you are in Europe already, it is definitely worth checking out one of the most picture-perfect cities on the continent: Prague. This place is no secret or profoundly new destination, but despite the crowds, it is truly magical. So much so that I went twice this year, once to enjoy the summer and a second trip during the winter to see the city transform into a cozy Christmas market. Prague has a medieval skyline with countless towers piercing the sky and castles here and there on the horizon. A river gently flows through the old town and is crossed by one of the most famous bridges in the world, Charles Bridge. The walkway is lined with larger-than-life statues that have stood the test of time for hundreds of years. The bridge offers amazing views towards both sides of the city, but even better views await from the top of the town hall tower that looks directly over the market square towards the Lady of Tin Church, or by heading to the Prague Castle that overlooks the entire city. Every road and every alleyway weaves you through time as you discover the charm of an older European way of life. One last destination that I highly recommend for 2025 is Oaxaca, Mexico. This is one of the most charming cities in Mexico. Tucked away in the mountains, the colorful old town is a haven for colonial architecture and exquisite flavors. The surrounding region grows some of the best agave, which is later distilled into Mexico's traditional smoky mezcal, as well as having plenty of markets that serve unique dishes to the region, including the tlayuda. Nestled atop one of the surrounding hills is Monte Alban, an ancient Zapotecan city, diminished to the ruins of the fabulous structures that define their society. If possible, try to visit Oaxaca during the end of October or in the first few days of November to see the city come alive with the festivities of Dias de los Muertos. The streets flood with spooky outfits and parades, while the graveyards get uplifted with bright orange flowers and candlelight as they welcome back the spirits of their loved ones for a weekend of festivities. This had long been on my bucket list of cultural festivals to attend, and it was one of the most vibrant celebrations I have participated in. This just scratches the surface of places I could recommend visiting this year. My channel is full of other unique destinations and cultural experiences if you are looking for more inspiration for your 2025 adventures. Please leave any suggestions of places you think I should visit this year in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe to follow along as I embark on some epic journeys to the remote corners of Africa in the coming year. Thanks for watching and happy travels.